Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
A
wabarakatuh.
very good morning to everyone and welcome to Esp Sharing Session number 16. We proudly organized by the Indonesian ESP teachers community. My name is Susilowaty from Sampoerna University, Jakarta, and it is truly my pleasure to be your MC for this meaningful and inspiring session. I'm delighted to see so many enthusiastic faces across Indonesia and perhaps from abroad as well, joining us today to share, learn, and grow together in the field of English for specific purposes. As we all know, this ESP Sharing Session series has always been a special platform for teachers, lecturers, and researchers to exchange experiences and innovative ideas in ESP teaching and learning. I'm also delighted to extend a very warm welcome to our distinguished guests, the chair of the Indonesian ESP teachers community, Ibu Dr. Lulu Iswati M.Hum, our two inspiring speakers, Ibu Banatul Murtafi'ah M.Pd from Universitas Islam Indonesia and Ibu Norita Prasetya M.Pd from uh, Universitas Institut Adhi, Tama, Surabaya. And as well as our moderator, Ibu Zusana Eko Pudyastuti M.Pd from Universitas Bhinneka, Nusantara. And as well as I'm also delighted to see, um, you know, all the participants here. Yeah, as we all know, this ESP sharing session, um, this is a 16 ESP setting sessions, and so thank you for all taking your time to be here on this wonderful Saturday morning. Before we begin, let's make sure everyone is ready. Please feel free to turn on your camera in your connection if your connection allows, because a little later we'll take a group photo together to capture this special moment. To start our session with pride and unity, let's listen to and sing together our beloved national anthem, Indonesia Raya, led by the ESP team. Thank you, everyone. That was beautiful. Now, before we move on, let's take a moment to capture this gathering. Uh, could I kindly ask everyone to please turn on your cameras and show your warm smiles for our photo sessions. Okay,
So
so
let
please
me,
turn,
oh,
yeah,
let me
go ahead, Bapak.
a moment. Okay, I want to see your best smile. Please, everyone, turn on your camera. So I know this is the very fresh Saturday, so show it up. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Moment. Okay, thank you, everyone. Okay, one more time. 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you. Oh, moment. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Bu Susilo.
Thank you, Farudi. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for your smiles. You all look wonderful on screen. Um, Well, ladies and gentlemen, Bapak Ibu, we are honored to have as the chair of the Indonesian ESP Teachers Community, Ibu Dr. Lulu Iswati M. who has been the driving force behind this community growth and continuous professional learning. Without further ado, I would like to invite Ibu Lulu to deliver welcome remarks. Ibu Lulu, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Bu Susi. Good morning, everybody. A warm welcome to the 16th sharing session of the Indonesian ESP teaching community. Today, I'm honored to host this gathering of dedicated English teachers who share a passion for teaching English for specific purposes. I'd like to extend my gratitude to the organizing committee for their tireless efforts in making this event happen. To our esteemed speakers, thank you for sharing your expertise and experiences with us today. And also to the wonderful MC and moderator, thank you very much for willing to handle this event. As we all know, ESP is a vital field that enables learners to acquire any skills tailored for their professional or specific needs. As educators, we are constantly seeking innovative ways to enhance our teaching practices and stay updated on the latest developments in ESP. Hopefully, today's session will be engaging and informative experience with discussions on topics relevant to our field. We will learn from each other's experiences, exchange ideas, and expand our professional networks. Finally, let's make the most of this opportunity to learn, share, and grow together. Thank you again, and I wish you all a productive and enjoyable session. Thank you, Bu Susila.
Thank you very much, Ibu Lulu, for your warm words and encouragement. Your dedication truly inspires us to keep developing our expertise and passion in ESP teaching. And now it's time to get to know our inspiring speakers and today's topic. For this, I'm pleased to hand over the session to our moderator, Ibu Susana Eko Pudyanti SS M.Pd from Universitas Bhinneka in Nusantara, Malang. Ibu Susana will guide us through the introduction of our speakers and flow of today's sharing. Ibu Susana, the floor is yours.
Ya, thank you, Ibu Susilowaty. Good morning, Ibu Bapak. Welcome to our 16 academic sharing sessions of English for specific purposes community. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Zusana Eko Pudyastuti from Universitas Bhinneka, Nusantara, previously known as Sekolah Tinggi Informatika and Computer Indonesia, and I am honored to be your moderator for today's sessions. I would like to begin our sessions with introductions of our speakers. Today we have two speakers, and I would like to introduce them one at a time. Our first speaker today is Ibu Banatul Murtafi'ah, M.Pd. She is a respected colleague and lecturer from Universitas Islam Indonesia. Uh, she is a lecturer from English Language Education Department, and she earned both her bachelor's and master's degrees in the same department from Universitas Negeri Yogyakarta. She currently serves as the head of program development at the Directorate of Academic Development at Universitas Islam Indonesia Yogyakarta. She manages a number of programs at the directorate, such as grants for the lectures and the departments at UII to improve their quality in terms of innovative learning. She is an active researcher and author whose work has been featured in reputable journals and books. Her teaching and research focus on English language teaching, especially teacher education, English for specific purposes, classroom management, and innovative teaching approaches like problem-based and project-based learning. She also likes to share her ideas at conferences worldwide and connect with researchers whose expertise in language teaching. In her editorial roles, she serves as editor-in-chief for the Journal of English and Education at UII and a reviewer for several other journals. One of these is a Scopus Index journal called Journal of Applied Research in Higher Education. Passionate about empowering future English educators, she combines her teaching expertise with innovative strategies to prepare students for more dynamic educational environments. She also values collaborations and continuous learning in the education field. And that is the short biography of the first speaker. And I would like to introduce our second speaker, Ibu Norita Prasetya Wardhani M.Pd. She is also a dedicated lecturer from Institut Teknologi Adhi Tama, Surabaya. She is also a TOEFL-like tutor, journals proofreader, and BIPA instructor. She earned her bachelor degree on 2012 from English Education of Universitas Negeri Surabaya and master degree on 2015 from English Education and Literature from the same university. Currently, she is pursuing her doctorate degree at UNESA since 2022, and she is an active researcher and teacher who has published many books and articles. Moreover, she has received the grants from the government on 2018 and 2023. Okay, and today our first speaker will present her topic entitled From the Field to the Classroom, Practitioner Insight and Problem-Based Learning in ESP Teacher Educations. Please join me in welcoming Ibu Banatul Murtafi'ah, M.Pd. Ibu, the screen is yours.
Thank you very much, Ibu Susana, for the introductions. Bapak Ibu, allow me to share my screen for these presentations. Okay, so yeah, so previously Bu Susana has already introduced myself. So it's me, my name is Banat. So I'm from PPI or English Language Education Department UI in Yogyakarta, Bapak Ibu. So it's very honored for me to be here to share my experiences with you all. And actually, I'm from the English Education Department, so I'm not teaching ESP for students in the very specific field. Yeah, so we are in our department preparing our students to be future English teachers. So to be English teacher in the future. So one of them is of course to be ESP teacher. So that's why my title here is the practice of PBL and also inviting practitioner in ESP teacher education because actually our ultimate goal is to prepare our students to be ESP teachers. And all right, so I will start my presentations. This is a short introduction from me, but Ibu Susana has already mentioned everything about me earlier. Thank you so much, Ibu. And salam kenal from Jogja, Ibu. Ibu from Malang. I'm now in Jogja, and this is my study program, Ibu Bapak. So it's from Pendidikan Bahasa Inggris and from the Faculty of Social and Cultural Sciences of UII in Jalan Kaliurang. So have you ever been to Jogja? So please come to our campus. And this is the overview. So this actually my class last year, and I got this from the Directorate of Academic Development in our campus. So this directorate actually has a program, has a number of grants, and one of them is teaching grants. So the directorate give these grants to all the lecturers to give opportunities for every lecturers in WE to develop the innovation for their teaching every semester. And I received this grant in February to July 2024. So at that time, this directorate has had three SIMs for the teaching grants, and one of them is Praktisi Mengajar, the other one is AI in Education, and the next one, if I'm not mistaken, it was something about student-centered learning. So the one that I proposed at that time for this teaching grant is Praktisi Mengajar. So that's why I invited practitioners, ESP practitioners to my class to help me teaching our students. And the subject at that time was assessment in teaching English for specific purposes. So the main goal of my subject or my course at that time was introducing the concept of assessment, but specifically in the ESP context. This is actually one of the subjects from our previous curriculum. Nowadays, we change our curriculum in 2024, in the end of 2024, we changed our curriculum, and the subject is no longer there, right? Unfortunately, but we still have ESP what subject, but not specifically in assessment. So it's developing materials in ESP in general. So about developing course and developing materials in ESP. So assessment is only just a part of it, not in a whole whole subject like in a very intensive subject like this one. But thanks to our head of department, it's still there. I mean, the English for specific purposes course is still there, and it was for students in semester 6 at that time, and it weighed 2 credits. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, the students here are the pre-service ESP teachers, so those who were trained to be English teachers in the futures. And yeah, so when I propose this grant to our directorate, I came with a number of problems, and of course I also propose some innovations. I come to the problem first. So here, the problem in our department is that our students in ESP course still use the same lesson plan all the time for the past 3 years, and then after that, because yeah, we are from English education department. Our students have no exposure to the outside world, and at that time they didn't know how ESP practitioners assess their students. So that's why in my proposal, I propose a number of innovations here. Actually, there are two main innovations. The first one is that I invited ESP practitioners. I guess Miss Agni is here. So yesterday I invited Miss Agni also to join our sharing session today. And she is actually a director and also an English instructor and also a founder of an English for cruise ship workers training institutions. But when I asked her to join me in teaching this course, it's not only for one session, but I asked her to teach the class for 7 sessions. So it's half of the sessions, yeah. And then in addition to inviting the ESP practitioner, I also propose this innovation by having or adapting the problem-based learning model. So to by giving students some kind of case and then ask them to formulate solution, ask them to identify the problems and then to formulate solutions. And then after that, they were asked to create or design assessment guidelines, because the main outcome of this subject is that students will be able to create assessment guidelines for ESP course. And of course, because it's a teaching grant, so there should be performance indicators to measure whether the innovations worked or not. So here, two performance indicators that I propose were student skills and knowledge in designing assessment types and rubrics are appropriate to the specific ESP field. In this case is English for cruise ship workers. And then the second one, the students not only are students expected to be able to create the design, but they also are expected to be able to explain the reasons behind the proposed solution. So this is something related to the PBL model. So when the students were given some kind of problems, they come up with the solutions, but not only for the solution, but they also need to know the reasons why you propose this kind of solutions, what kind of justification you have. Do you think your solution is appropriate for the problem or not, suitable, feasible or suitable for this case or not, and so on. So the second one mainly related with the PBL model, and the first one is something about what is it like students' ability and knowledge after joining this class. And that's the motivations. Yeah, I talked about PBL. So I think all of us here in this room already know what PBL is, Bapak Ibu. So the focus of problem-based learning here is actually on the premise that learnings happen during the process of investigating and producing solutions. So as I mentioned before, the students were given some kind of case, and then they need to identify the problems, and then after that they need to propose solutions. And not only until proposing the solution, but they also need to give reasonable justification for the solution they propose. And I think in ESP context, not in my context, yeah, not in my subject here, but in ESP context, for example, in medical field, when we teach English for medical students, when students are presented with scenarios such as some kind of disease or symptoms of a certain disease, then they work in groups to research about the disease, for examples, and to suggest solutions to cure the disease, for example, using their own knowledge here, their content knowledge about medical things. And this is the innovation. So I adapted the innovation of PBL from Ansariah and Theo. But before I presented the adaptation of my versions, this is the real, not the real, yeah, the one that Ansari and Theo proposed in their book. So this is the model of problem-based language learning model, yeah. So started from the problem creations, problem exposure, researching, reasoning, yeah. So as we can see here, reasoning and synthesis is something that is very important as well in PBL. So not only students were given problems, but they also need to give some kind of reasons, application, reapplication, and reflections, and also knowledge. And from this innovations from this model, I adapted this model into steps like this. So this is the first step for my class at that time. So for problem creation and problem exposure, yes, so students were given, as I mentioned earlier, the case study, so something related to the real life conditions of ESP students that will face, and they need to observe the problem that might happen in that context. In this case, the real life conditions that I give to our students is that for English for cruise ship workers, so in that area. And the second step or stage is researching and reasonings. So students in groups, they analyze the problems in the case from the previous context, identify the skills to assess. Say, for example, do they need to assess all the English skills like speaking, listening, reading, and writing, all the 4 skills, or just only need to assess speaking skills only, for example, and how to assess those skills if they would plan to assess the 4 skills, all of them, for example, and how to assess them, and what kind of assessment, what type of assessment will they propose. And in synthesis, students and their group, so they work in small groups of 3, they formulated the type of ESP testing or assessment that suits the needs of the students in that specific ESP field. Yes, according to the problems or based on the problem that they identified earlier. And for the application and reapplications, here students work in groups again to develop the assessment guidelines. So after they they got the cases, and then after that they identify the problem, they propose solutions, identify what kind of assessment they will assess to this kind of students or to this kind of context, like how assessing the students, for example. Then they come up with the last project that is creating the assessment guidelines. And of course, it ends with the reflection and knowledge. So after the whole process here, the students reflect on what they have learned, the challenges, for example, the difficulties, or something that enjoy the most from this learning process, and so on. So they also need to evaluate their own assessment guidelines, identify what they can improve in the future, for example. And yes, so in addition to PBL, as I mentioned before, I also invited the ESP practitioner to my class to teach our students in 7 sessions. So not only for 1 session, but for 7 sessions here. And her qualification is from the English language education and English language studies here. And she's a founder, academic director, also ESP teachers for a cruise ship academy here in Magelang. I will share with you the institution profile after this. And she has extensive experiences in teaching ESP for more than 1 decade, from 2014 until now. That's why I invited her to come to our class to share with our students about her experiences in designing ESP assessment. Especially for the cruise ship workers. So this is the overview of her institution. So this is the institution profile of Miss Agni. I think Miss Agni is here with us, together with us here in this room. She established this academy in 2019 together with her husband, who is also a highly experienced hotelier and had a lot of experiences working in land-based and also sea-based hotels. So that's why 2 of the programs that I would like her to teach in our class is that focusing on English for land-based and sea-based hospitality and English for Marlins test preparation and interview coaching. So this, the red ones, yeah, these are the two things that Miss Agnes shared with us in our classroom. So how to create the assessment for English, especially for sea-based hospitality, and also what is actually Marlins test. So my students, because they might work later on after graduating from our department, they might work in ESP field, and when they, for example, working in the future, yeah, if they are working or they're going to work or to teach students for Marlins test preparation, at least they know what Marlins test is. So that's why Miss Agnes shared with us about this, all of this in our class. And this is the instructional design. So the assessment of teaching English for specific purposes, I have for course learning outcomes or CPMK, Bapak Ibu, for this course. So the first one, students will be able to understand the basic concept. So before given the case, the students need to know the concept first. What is assessment? What is ESP? So the basic theories of assessment and ESP, for example. What is the type of assessment? What kind of listening tests? What kind of speaking tests can we design for students in ESP context, for example? So this is the first CLO or course learning outcomes, and the second one, yeah, the students after learning the basic concept, the students will be able to understand the types of ESP testing that cover the four language skills based on the case that we give to our students. Yeah, so I gave the students a case, and then they identify the ESP testing that they can design for this case, specifically for this case, for example. And the second, sorry, not the second, the third CLO, that the students will be able to determine the type of ESP testing according to the needs of the students and in specific ESP fields. So what kind of assessment, say for example, like summative, formative, and then what diagnostic, or do they need, for example, do they need a proficiency test like Marlin's test, because the ESP context here specifically for ESP for cruise ship workers, yeah, English for cruise ship workers. So do they need to include Marlin's test in their design or not, for example? And the last one is that the final project is all about designing assessment guidelines. I will show you later on one of the product of our students here. And then the second column is about the assessment. So I have the CLO, the 4 CLO, and then this 4 CLO were measured using this 4 assessments. So for example, to test the students' ability about the concept of ESP, and then whether they already understand or comprehend or not, what is ESP, what is assessment, what makes summative and formative assessment different. For example, I assess them with the short answer quiz. So that's for assignment 1. And then for identifying the types of ESP testing based on the 4 language skills, I ask them to create mind map, yeah, to identify. So based on this case, do you think you need to design all the 4 language skills tests or not, for examples? Maybe not all of them. Maybe you don't need to assess their writing skills. So, okay, so what kind of skills do you need to assess, for example? So they create mind map. And the essay for the UTS, yeah. So the essay is the reasoning or the justifications, yeah. The justification of what they have already created in their mind map. And the third one, that's the essay for, yeah, to assess the student's ability to determine the ESP testing, like I mentioned before. So whether they will design like summative or formative or diagnostic or proficiency test or whatever, and then they need to also include or write some reasoning or justification or the reason for what they have chosen. So that's for assignment 3. And the last one, assignment 4, is the biggest project in this course. So they need to design the assessment guideline and they need to present. And the last one is reflective essay. To wrap up all the whole things they have learned, they have to write reflective essay to be submitted as their UAS or final test. Okay, so this the implementations. So for one semester, 2 credit subjects, yeah, two credit course for one semester. There were 16 sessions, including midterm and final tests here, and 7 of the sessions were delivered by the practitioner, by the ESP practitioner, specialized in English for cruise ship workers. And here, because in even uh, I just know about this information, yeah, after Miss Agni came to our class, that even in English for cruise ship workers they were very more specified, like more specified field, yeah, like English for housekeeping services is different from English for F&B services, for example. So Miss Agni delivered all the things here to our students about the sea-based English for sea-based hospitality in cruise ship context. And this is the case study. So I gave this to our students, and then they need to, as we can see together in here below the case, I have 2 instructions or questions, yeah, of to our students here. So they need to identify the needs, especially for F&B services and housekeeping services. And then what kind of assessment will you give to your students, to the students from this 2 department based on their needs. So as we can see, for example, it is a Spanish cruise company. The staffs, so many staffs there working there, and then they were coming from different countries with different educational background and also different English tests and so on. And so if English is and they're coming from non-native English speaking countries, for example, and meanwhile English is the language they must speak on board, yeah. So what kind of English test will you provide for this English course, yeah, or specific ESP course for this cruise ship workers, for example. So this is the 2 things that the students need to solve. And this is the problem formulation for my study, for this whole study, yeah, because it's actually my class, yeah, the class or the course that I taught last year. But I also, because it's also a grant, so we need to propose some kind of problem formulation and make it like a study, yeah, like so I proposed 2 problem formulations or research questions here. The first one, does PBL develop the students' assessment design skills or not? And the second one, how do they, my students who are also pre-service ESP teachers, perceive PBL for their assessment design skills, for example? And this is the results for the first research questions. Among the 4 CLO, Alhamdulillah, 3 of them, 100% of our students were result or get the grades above C+. So most of them, not most of them, yeah, all of them, got above C+. Meanwhile, only 1 CLO here, identifying, yeah, the types of ESP testing, covering which skills. Only 84% of the students got the grades above C+. Yeah, although it's already achieved our target. So this is my target when I propose this grant. So I set this target, so 80% of them will show the ability of what understanding, ability to determine the time, ability to develop assessment guidelines, and so on. So I set these standards, I set this target, and this target, all of them were achieved at that time, except only for one. It's achieved anyway, but not 100%. I don't know why. So maybe because they're still not really sure. Maybe some of them still thought that they need to assess all the four skills, yeah, for F for this case, yeah. So they need to assess all the skills. Everything must be assessed, for example. I don't know. So but yeah, only 84% of them got C plus, above C plus. And these are the results for the RQ2, so research questions number 2. So based on the reflections, so at the end of the course, they submitted written reflections for this course, and they mentioned that PBL provides hands-on experiences for them in terms of designing ESP assessment. And they also mentioned that both PBL and ESP practitioner can bridge the gap of theories and practices, and also brings the real-world insights and experiences to them in the classroom. So so this is how ESP look like. So they can see the real world because we bring or we brought the ESP practitioner to the classroom. And this is the results of reflections from our students. So let's say students A mentions that this course offered her the hands-on experiences. And the interesting one is coming from the students B here. So she mentioned the challenges. Yeah. So she mentioned that actually the most difficult part of this course is choosing the right test to assess which particular skill. So I think this is in line with the previous results of why only 84% students got above C plus, yeah. So I think this is something difficult for them to choose which skill should I assess, or which task should I choose to assess this skill, for example. So this is something about the problem base. So we give them the problem, they choose they propose solution, they choose the solution by themselves, for example. And this is considered difficult by the students, but I think that's the art of problem base, yeah, here. And then the one that is what enjoyable for her is mind mapping, when she what is it like, break down the topics into the smaller ones, for examples. And this is another reflections from different students, so students C, students D, and students A, for example. So they mentioned that both PBL and also practitioners like shows them the real world insights and experiences, and so they brings this kind of real world context to the classroom. So they mentioned that, for example, like the real life experiences delivered by the practitioners. Oh yeah, in the practice, Miss Agni also share everything about English for specific, no, English for cruise ship workers to our students together with his husband. And I mentioned before, her husband was previously cruise ship worker himself. So that's why he knows everything about cruise ship. Yeah. So that's why these things that makes our students feels like, oh, so that's how cruise ship workers work in real life. Yeah. So that's why this kind of experience help them visualize the real conditions of how these people work in real life. Okay. And I think Marlin's test also some things new for our students at that time. That's why they also mentioned about Marlin's test here. And these are two examples of the product from our students. This is, oh, sorry. This is the mind map. So when I ask them to create the mind map, they need to include the skills that they will design, that they will assess for the certain context, the case study about the Spanish cruise ship before I show you that one, and they have to decide for example, for the housekeeping staff, for this context, or for stateroom introduction, for casual and personal conversation, for example, then what kind of skills they need to assess. So they choose only listening and speaking skills because they have a number of reasons here. And then the needs of the students, for example, because they need this kind of thing. So they only assess, or they only design the listening and speaking assessment for this context, for these students, or for this housekeeping staff. And for the type of assessment, they decided to create summative assessment and also short-term assessment, for example. And this the situations. So I also ask them to if you want to include the speaking assessment, then you need to make it very very specific. What kind of situation will your students will you assess to your students, for example? So they mentioned about personal conversation and also casual conversations. So this is the what is it like, the second assignment about mind mapping. So first they brainstorm, or they put everything in their hand, in their head. After reading the case study, they identify and they put everything they the discussions, I mean, like among the group members, and put them here in this kind of mind map. And after that, finally, this is the last assignment. The last assignment is about creating the assessment guidelines. So this is just an example for the speaking test, or for the speaking assessment. So still from the same context. So for the housekeeping staff, and the topic is about stateroom introductions for casual and personal conversations. So because in this context as well, at that time, our practitioner explained to our students that the housekeeping staff in land-based and sea-based hotel have different, different kind of jobs. So usually when we come to the hotel, in the land-based hotel here, for example, the housekeeping, we never interact. We as the guests, for example, we as the guests of the hotel, we never interact with the housekeeping staff. However, when we are the guests for a certain cruise ship, then the housekeeping staff has a lot of interaction with them, because the guests of the cruise ship, they will be on board for quite a long time, for, I don't know, for 2 weeks, or maybe even 4 weeks, or even 4 months, on board. So they will meet the housekeeping staff every day. So that's why the interactions between the guests and the housekeeping staff are quite intense there. It's different from the land-based hotel, where we almost never interact with the housekeeping staff, for example. So that's why the students here, our students, propose this kind of role play scenario for the speaking test, or for speaking assessment. So such as welcoming guests, room service requests, providing a room tour, assisting with accessibility needs, for example, explaining the entertainment options, assisting with checkout procedures, and also offering tourist informations. this is only for speaking test. Yeah, this is only a sample of their final project. Meanwhile, there are actually still quite many, I mean, like explanations or reasons about this, why they choose this type of test, why they choose this skill. There are also a number of explanations actually embedded in this assignment, but I do not attach them here. Okay, and this is the takeaways or the conclusions. So of course, based on this experience, it is suggested that the lectures in PBI department or English education department involve more practitioners in the classroom to open the students' perspective, especially the the real conditions, yeah, of ESP to the classroom, because you know, this is something that can open their mind and help them visualize what kind of situations, for example, if they work on that situation, for example, so they have already known what kind of what problems, what kind of yeah, in this case, what kind of assessment I can assess to my students, for examples. And the PBL, the student-centered PBL learning model, yeah, although considered challenging from the students' POV, like the one in the previous reflections, yeah, student B mentions that it is challenging for her to, you know, to choose or to solve the problem, yeah, to choose which assessment, which type of assessment, and to choose which skills of English that they need to include in their guidelines, for example. But although it is considered challenging, I believe that PBL can help students develop their critical thinking, and also it provides real world experience to our students. And despite some contribution, of course, this what is it like, this best practice has a lot of limitations. Yeah, two of them are mentioned here. The first one is that I only use the written data sources from the students assignments, and also students reflective essays, and also students scores. So I think to gain a deeper or more in-depth perception from the students, we need to interview what about their perceptions, perspective, I mean, and then their, I don't know, their, maybe their feelings and emotions or whatever, so to gain more in-depth results. Yeah. And the second one is that it was conducted only in one ESP course involving only one ESP practitioner from one field. So I think meanwhile, ESP cover a wide range of industries. So I think further study for any English language education department lecturers might invite more practitioners from other fields, so not only from one field. Yeah. And I think that's all from me. I think I'll hand it back to the moderator, Ibu Susana. Thank you very much. Bye-bye, Ibu.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, Ibu Banatul Murtafi'ah, for the insightful presentations on the collaboration, yeah, on the collaborations between English teacher and also the EXP practitioner for creating assessment guideline in non-ESP classroom. By involving the ESP practitioner to our class, it will provide the students with the authentic pictures of ESP assessment in a real world or in the industry. And Ibu Banatul also provide us with the what is it? A reinforcement for us the use of PBL for developing students' critical thinking. Thank you, Ibu, for the presentations, and I'm sure that it has sparked a lot of thoughts among the audience. And I would like to remember all the participants to save your questions for combined Q&A sessions after the presentations of speaker two. You may also post your questions in the chat window and mentioning your name and affiliations. Next up, we have our second presenter, Ibu Norita Prasetya Wardhani. Are you with us here, Ibu?
Yes, I am.
Okay, it's nice to see you in these sharing sessions. Allow me to introduce Ibu Norita again. Ibu Norita is a lecturer from Institut Teknologi Adhi Tama, Surabaya. It's closer to Malang.
Yeah.
And earned her bachelor degree and also the master degree from Universitas Negeri Surabaya. And currently she is pursuing her doctorate degree at the same university. And also she is an active researcher and teacher who has published many books and articles. Okay, and today she would like to share with us her research on or her topic on when GE meets ESP, reflections from teaching engineering students. Okay, that is the topic of the second presentations. The the screen is yours, Ibu Norita.
Okay, thank you for the moderator. Yeah, I would like to share my presentation. Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity given to me. In this occasion, I would like to share to having discussion about my experiences when I teach in engineering students. Actually, ITAS is one of institution technology institution in Surabaya, and all of the majors in ITAS are engineering. So in ITAS there is no English department. In ITAS there are two kinds of English material. The first is English 1 and also English 2. And in this morning, my topics is when general English meets English specific purpose. This is the reflection from my English teaching for engineering students. So, Bapak Ibu, when you hear the word English lesson, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? May you write it down in the chat box, please? English lesson, what is the first thing in your mind? You may write it down on the chat box. General English, Ibu Agnieszki. Others? Grammar, vocabularies. Okay, thank you. Ibu ya. Okay, speaking English, vocabulary, grammar, difficult all four skills, and yeah. When we heard about English lesson, actually, we still learn in our thinking, in our mind, still like English is so general, right? Yeah, it is also happened in my campus. So most of since 10 years ago, in my campus only teach about general English. But since 2 years ago, we try to apply ESP in one major, in mining engineering major. Actually, there are several concepts of English general purpose and also English specific purpose. There are 6 aspects for English general purposes and English specific purpose. One of it is the focus. Actually, the focus of both of it are different. If we see in EGP, the focus is only for like what you uh,
what you type, grammar, vocabulary, speaking, maybe TOEFL preparation, for skills of English. It's like that. But it will be different if we talk about ESP. In ESP, it will be more related to the what major is it, what major that we teach. Like in my campus, we still use one ESP for mining engineering students. We choose the theme of the ESP is about what is that? I forget it. About environment in mining. Why we took environment? Because in environment or exclamation is only what is that? Mata kuliah pilihan. So that is why we take it as our material because environment for mining engineering students is so important because it is related to our daily. And also the learning objective. The learning objective between EGP and also ESP are quietly different. In learning objective, it talk about general or academic communication skills. Moreover, in my campus, you know that in a class of English, there are several majors. I ever seen there are 4 majors in a class to learn English. And of course, the material given to the students are so general. Actually, in my campus, there is a book which used for 13 majors. So, in that book, there are so random. All of the book talk about technical engineering, but each unit having different material. For example, in unit 1, we talk about chemical engineering. Unit 2, we talk about mechanical engineering. Unit 3, we talk about mining engineering. So when we learn different major in a class, we cannot use that material. We only use grammatical. And for the passage, we can find another sources. And for ESP, for the learning objective is so clear enough because the language competent for the professional in the field specific context. So we just learn which relate to the context. And also the materials. Of course, the material is quite different. Like what I have said to you, that the materials in the what is that in EGP is so general. Although we talk about engineering, but there are so many engineering theme that we put in that book. And also the what is that? The structure given is so general. And for the ESP, if we talk about environment for mining engineering, we just talk about kinds of environment. So we don't talk about anything. And also for the vocabulary or the discussion and everything, the case study or trust issue, it's just related to environment for engineering, mining engineering, I mean. And also, students' motivation is so quite different. For students' motivation in a class with 4 major, it will be so different. Moreover, I found that in a class, I told you there are 4 majors, but there are only a students in a major, and 3 others there are so many students. So he or she has different motivation. They have low motivation when they learn English because they think that there is no friends in that class. But will be different if in English specific purpose. The students are so motivated when they learn about something related with their major. They so curious. They so find the information from internet and anything. They have higher motivation than the students' motivation in EGP. And also the teacher's role for ESP. Uh, when we teach in ESP, we must have knowledge about what we learn in that class. Because yeah, sometimes we can share with the lecturers from the major about the materials. So when we enter to the class, we don't playing mind about what we talk about, because we are the teacher in ESP as a facilitator, and the teacher for the teacher's role for EGP. This is for the instructor, the material provider. They must, the teacher must be organized to make the atmosphere well, and to motivate the students to how can the students can learn English happily, although they have different majors in that class. And then the expected output. The expected output for the EGP is having communication in a general, but it will be different in ESP. The communication for the ESP are more professional, more technical, and more, what is that, more specific, like that. And also next, actually, this is that I applied in EGP in my English general purpose. Actually, in English general purpose, it is used in English one. Actually, this is a basic English, and also the English two for English general purpose. They will learn about TOEFL, and for English two for ESP, they will more specific about environment for mining, and it is used only in mining engineering students. And in EGP for English 1 or in general English, yeah, I always do the presentation. I always ask the students to have the presentation about the material, moreover for grammar. So I ask the students to make in a group. There are 4 members. It's up to them. They will gather with their own friends in a major or with other. If they have friends from in the same major, they can gather with the other majors. But here, the presentation is not only the presentation, not only the students presents the material and then the audience is asking the question. No, after the students having the presentation, the audience says must. I say must to the students that to what's that, to grow up the motivation. The students must give the presenters questions. After that, in the last session, the presenters must give what's that? The exercise, minimally 15 exercise to the audiences. The exercise is not about, for example, what is simple past tense, not about that. But the exercise like what we give to the students, actually it's like that. There are 15 questions. And in the last session, in the presentation, the presenters can choose the students who will answer the question, or they can choose from the absent, or the presenters can give the, what is that, the marker, and audiences will come in front of the class. It's so in my class it's so crowded when it applied. And the last activities I give to the students is giving the students contemporary projects. You know that right now we teach Gen Z. Gen Z is so really what's that? Really like when they play social media, right? So my project is about social media. Uh, today, not today, in this semester, I give the students about, what is that? I ask the students to make vlog. Sometimes I just say, oh okay, silakan buat kegiatan sehari-hari. I also ask like that, but I give another choice. For example, you can be a food blogger, you can be a cultural blogger, or maybe the students can explain the culture from their own downtown, so they can introduce the culture from their area. Not only that, I will ask the students to upload it into their social media, and I ask the students to give hashtag to my campus. It's one of the way to promote my campus, and also it will make the students to have good good content, because if they want to apply job after they have graduated, several companies will check their social media. I just hope that one of the content will make them laugh. Oh, ternyata mereka bisa berbahasa Inggris. It's like that. It's not only from a certificate of TOEFL, no, but it's one of proven that, oh, they can speak English, like that. And then for the evaluation, I will give them two evaluation. The first thing about uh, writing assignment that I give uh, also contemporary. It's like, we listen, we don't judge. Please write it down about we listen, we don't judge, like that. I think that several months ago, we listen, we don't judge is so popular. And also, right now, mental health is so being a trust issue. So I just asked the students about like this: how are you? How are you? The assignment only, how are you? So like that, the question only, how are you? And the students can express their feeling. Maybe several students cannot express their feeling, and they can write it down their feeling in that assignment. And then for quiz and also UTS and UAS, I will give the students oral quiz. So it will make me understand about the material or not. So I give 4 questions for each student. So 5 by 5 students will come forward in front of me. They will answer the question in 5 minutes. And of course, the question one to other will be different. So they will understand of themselves. Oh, ternyata saya belum bisa. Oh, ternyata saya belum paham. It's like that. And then for for the impact, if I give it, the students are more active, because when they answer the question after the presenters give the questions, they will get point, and the point will help them to increase their score in the end. So it motivates the students to join the class, to answer the question and everything. And and I never judge the students when they getting wrong or something like that. And of course, the students more curious to speak up, to speak English and everything. And then what I applied in ESP in practice for the activities, trust issues. I always ask the students. I always discussing about the trust issue happening in mining field, and of course it must be related with our topic, with my topic in that unit. So we're discussing about that trust issue, and in the book that we use, we also have game. We also have video. The students, like what I have said, the students is really like about social media. The students always use their own gadget. So in that book, the students can scanning the barcode and they can play game. They can watch video from that book. So that book is not only about textual, but the students can can what is that? Can learn English from listening, their listening from their imagination or something and something else. Because in this book, in ESB textbook, I applied multimodality materials, so they can learn about textual, video, gestural, verb, and something else, pictures and something else. And then for the grammar, it's different with the EGP. The grammar in EGP is so general. But the grammar in ESP, if we talk about simple present tense, for example, so the what is that the exercise is related to the material in that unit. If we talk about mining activities, so we must relate it between simple present tense and mining activities. And the evaluation for the oral examination, it seems like in EGP, but from the problem solving quiz. So I have several problems, and then I will make it into arisan, like that, right? Yeah, in the paper, and the students can choose the team, and also the students must express their problem solving to that material, to that problems, and they can, and I give them 5 minutes to answer. It is like in Indonesia, Miss Indonesia, when they answer the question, something like that. And of course, the impact in this material, in this class is so good. The students are more motivated because the material are relevant with their majors, and the students are active because they're really curious about these materials. Moreover, if the classmates are their senior, because their senior are having so much many experiences. So this is the reflection for English general purpose challenges. The first is, when I came to the class for the first time, most of the students said that English is a nightmare because most of the students are from vocational high school. So they think that English is doesn't important. So they doesn't need English. So when they learn English in vocational high school, it is not important. So when they have English in university level, they just think like, loh kok masih ada bahasa Inggris ya? Saya menghindari bahasa Inggris, something like that. They told me like this. Yeah, English is not important, but I told them like this. Maybe right now English is not important to you, but when you have graduated from this campus and you work, and we never know who is your client, because most of the senior told me that uh, they right now they are really need English because they don't get the promotion because their English was so bad, and if they have a client from other out of Indonesia, is they still confusing to have communication. So that is why I told to the students that English is important. But is it okay about your grammar? But you be. That is why I asked the students to have presentation. And also unrelated reading contents. So when I teach chemical engineering students, the material is about uh, electrical engineering. Yeah, it's unrelated. So that is why it makes the students unhappy if we talk about the basics. So most of the time, I also skip it. And yeah, because the what is that the basis is unrelated, so we only learn about grammatical, or if the basics we just learn about general basics. And like what I have said to you, in a class there are different majors. It can be 4 majors, so it will make the students to feel difficult when they have presentation with other majors because their schedule are different and something else. So there are 4 benefits of ESP. The first is increasing learning motivation to the students when they learn English because the material are relevant with their majors, and then you can combining using multimodality. So you can put the video or games into the barcode, and the students can scanning the barcode, and it will be more fun. So you don't need to what is that, to play the video from your laptop. So you don't need to bring the sound, because the students can watch the film from their mobile phone. And also English are more relevant to the profession. Yeah. Several research I read several research that English for ESP uh, are taught to the professional. So when they learn in the university level, they don't learn about this one. It is for mining engineering students. And in that book that we learn, it's not only about essays, video, but we talk about the problem. So from that problem, the students can think about the solving, and the students can think about more critical. It's like that. So insight for English teachers. One, I apply it in this 2 semester. I always encourage the students to move every 40 minutes. To move like what? Not only stand up, not only moving their fingers like this, no, because I do really like having sport. So I ask the students to having sports like jumping jacks, maybe it's like squat. Maybe I ask the students to do that. Not only the students, but I also do it because this is not a punishment. We move together. After the students move like that, having exercise like that, it can increase students' motivation. The students feel fresh, and the students being focused. I also find the students feel sleepy after 40 minutes when we learn in the class. So after we have moved like that, we have exercise like that, the students will cheer up again. And then I use competitive methods. What I competitive? I told you that I asked the student to having presentation. After that, the audience is asking to the presenters, and the presenters giving the questions to the audiences. So the question is only 15 questions. So the students are so what is that? Berebut to answer the questions. Because of why? Because they must collect the points. In a semester, they must collect 6 points. 6 points can help the students to improve their score. And also perform based assessment like presentation like that. And then I use very media. Yeah, I only use a book, but in that book it contains so many media. And also I use contemporary tasks like Western creating online magazine, creating online comic, uh, uh, y- being a vlogger, something like that, exploring in a place and making vlog, something like that. So for the summarize, actually, English general purpose is a foundation. This is one of the way to make the students feel brave to speak English, and it can be support for the ESP because the ESP is a bridge to professional needs. Yeah, grammar is the foundation, but relevance builds motivation. Thank you. Thank you for Ibu Moderator and the audiences.
Yeah, thank you, Ibu Norita, for that engaging presentations. The presentation is focused on the integrations of English for general purposes into the context of ESP. In this case, is in the engineering for engineering students. That makes English or learning English in a more engaging and fun way for the students of ESP classroom through the um, use of various media, and also the engaging activities that is provided in the class. Okay. And now I would like to open the key question and answer sessions so that we can delve deeper into the methodologies and findings that is presented today. Okay, Bapak Aribowo, would you like to ask questions?
Thank you very much. My name is, you just call me Adhi. I just have sorry, I cannot turn on my camera. I just want to ask a minor question because I happened to be offline when Ibu Norita was presenting at the beginning. So who are actually the students of the English for general purposes? I think that's all. That's my first question. First, maybe I will have a following up question. Thank you.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Can I answer directly?
Yeah, please, Ibu.
Thank you, Pak Ari. Actually, in my campus there are 13 majors in my campus. So for the English general purposes, is all of the majors, those 13 majors. So in a class, I found there are mechanical engineering students and also electrical engineering students, informatics system, and also I forgot one of it. And in a
And
class, there
what
are
semester
40 students. There are 40
and what
students, and
in what semester are they?
randomly in each major
Oh, okay.
different. So, like in mechanical engineering, they are still in the first semester, and then for industrial in the third semester, something like that. So, not all of the students learn English in the first semester. So, it based on their majors.
And who are the SP students?
For the ESP students, it's only for mining engineering students, and also
Oh,
they are from different semester. I found in a semester there are students in semester 2 still freshmen, doesn't have any experiences, and then from sixth semester who has just finished their kuliah lapangan, something like that. But it is different when I took in the evening class. In the evening class, when I learned second semester, but they are professional in mining engineering. So it will be more interesting to having communication.
Okay. And then, sorry, more question about. Oh yeah, are they from the same university or different university?
They're in the same university.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Interesting. No, I'm really curious because it's really caught my attention because you mentioned that even in English for general purposes, the student is less motivated, and that's what interests me. That's why I try to ask who are actually the student. Anyway, thank you
Actually,
very much.
not all of the students are less motivated. One
Oh,
of
okay.
one of the major who has the less is mechanical engineering students. Mechanical engineering students doesn't like English so much.
Okay. All right.
So
Thank you very much.
it's so hard when I teach mechanical engineering students. Mechanical engineering students are more barbar than other like that.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pak Ari.
Okay, thank you for the questions, Pak Ari. And now the second question is Ibu Angesti Palupi.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for the opportunity, Bu Norita. It is always interesting, talking about students' motivation. Okay, can you hear my voice?
Unclearly.
It's soft, Ibu.
The soft, yeah.
Oh, too soft, yeah. How about now?
Okay, now better.
Okay, Bu Norita, it is always interesting talking about students' motivation, yeah. My question is, how did you assess students' motivation in this research? So you come to the conclusion that in ESP class, they have more motivation than those in general English. That's my first question. My second question is, you said on your presentation that you conduct student like oral assessment individually, yeah. But just second ago, you said that you have 40 students in the class. So how do you manage the oral assessment? Thank you, Norita.
Okay, for the motivation, I just like this. When I teach in general English general, the students when I ask the students to ask the question, no one students asking the question, and then no one students pay attention to their friends presentation, and then I saw the students that they sit their seat is so lazy, something like this. But when I teach in ESP, the students are too motivated when we tahu nggak sih kemarin tuh trust issue yang begini 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 seperti itu, and then the students open their gadget, they can give their comment, something like this. And I asked them, okay, if you cannot speak English, you don't know what you say, please write it down, your words, your bahasa in Google Translate, and you can share to us. So I asked the students to be brave to speak English, and they do it like that, Bu Angisti. And also, why I give oral questions to the students. That is actually one of my method. In a class, minimally there are 40 students.
Not,
And
not why, but how do you manage the time conducting oral students
it's
among
really
40 students? Yeah.
Yeah, it's really actually I have 40 students in a class, minimally 40 students. It can be 43, and I teach 6 classes. The campus just give us a week to correct all of the the students UTS, student UAS, only in a week. I think it will be not good enough for me, right? You know that the lecturer is not only correct the UTS and UAS, right? And how can I manage it? I use oral quiz. In that oral quiz, I ask the student 5 by 5 come to me, come to my table. So I put the chair in front of me. Yeah, there are 5 chairs, and then I will give little paper. In that little paper, there are 4 questions, just simple questions. For example, like this: please change this sentence into negative. Only like that, only grammatical like that. So the students must answer all of it in the 5 minutes, like that. So it will make me organize the time. Can get it, Bu Angesti? So only like that. So I just use 5 minutes to 5 or 10 minutes to handle 5 students, like that. So I think that's more efficient for me to know the students are understand or not. Because if I ask the students to write it down so long, maybe most of them will having cheat each other.
Having S.Pd, yeah.
Yeah, it's like that.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you, Bu.
Thank you, Ibu Angesti.
Yeah, thank you very much. The next question is from Pak Muhammad Rudi.
Hello.
Hello, Pak.
Okay. I have 2 questions. The first one for both presenters, Ibu Banat and Bu Norita. The silver lining that I got catch from the presentation, both from Bu Banat and Bu Norita, is the what is that? The critical thinking. Both of you said that your teaching can, or what we say, afford the students critical thinking. But my question is, do you apply any certain policy related to the AI? Because uh, we cannot guarantee that what they said or what they wrote in the assignment or the test are coming from their mind or from the AI. Do you have certain policy regarding that one? Because critical thinking means the student's mind, not the AI's mind, right? Like that. And the second question is for Ibu Agni Kusti. Ibu Agni Kusti is Bu Banat's partner in the teaching, right? So I want to hear the voice from Bu Agni as the practitioner. What maybe you can share your perspective or experience during the program of the practitioner teaching, like that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Pak Rudy. Would you like to answer directly, Ibu Banat and Ibu Norita?
Okay, so Ibu Norita or me first?
You may first. You may start
Oh,
first.
okay. So thank you, Pak Rudy. So for last year, actually, I haven't decided any AI rules or regulations in my class. Yeah, I started having the AI rules only last semester. So because it's last year, yeah, so I haven't included any AI what AI regulations or rules. Yeah. However, maybe I will just show you the one that I have for my subject last semester and also this semester, yeah, Bapak. Although it is not for ESP course, but I think this is something that I can share with Bapak Ibu all here in this room. So this a course for ELT textbook development. So the output or the outcome of this course is actually the students will be able to develop the English textbook. Yeah, so it's some kind of materials development, Bapak Ibu, because all of us here were English education department, right? So when we were in our bachelor degree, we had the materials development course, and this is the one similar like that one. And here's I have the AI, what is it like, AI rules, yeah, for my class. So use of AI in AI planning and collaborations, and also no AI regulations here. So for example, for AI planning and regulations, it is okay for the students to use ChatGPT or any chatbots, for example, to help them generate or synthesize or brainstorm their ideas or materials, for example. And they also need to put references, for example, like what tools they use for helping them generate ideas or for helping them brainstorm their ideas. And then meanwhile, for the non AI rule, so I emphasize that they are not allowed to use AI programs for any reflection, analysis, and review assignments. So this is the two things that we have in my class this semester and also last semester. And in addition to AI regulations, my my university also has what is it like developed a regulations for teaching. Yeah, so this is how we use AI in what is it like teaching and learning process in our university. So this is from the university level, and so there is a do's and don'ts, for examples, in this guidelines. Yeah, so when the students can use AI and when they cannot use AI, for example, and because there are so many fields in our university, so we also in these guidelines there were also some categories, for example, like those in humanities, social, law, for examples, and then for the science, technique, uh, engineering, sorry, engineering, or the last one is medical field. Yeah. So for example, this one. This is the one that I refer to. So before I create this regulations in my syllabus, I refer to this panduan or guidelines from the university. So because pendidikan bahasa Inggris belongs to the social humaniora field, so I refer to this regulation, things like the one that when the students are allowed to use AI, when they cannot use AI, and so on, and also how to refer the use of AI in their assignments, for examples. I think that's from me, Bapak Rudy.
Okay, thank you. From Bu Norita, please answer
Actually,
questions. Yeah.
actually, I don't have written rules like this. You know that I have so loud voice, so many students, not many, most of the students told me that I'm so galak. So that is why just use that voice. I just say you cannot use AI. It's like that, and the students do it. Or I ask the students to keep their phone and just think by themselves. It's like that, but so just use directly. I told directly, or maybe if for the handwriting, if I find the students to use I will tell the students directly, and then for the what is that the paper I write AI, and I will not give them score. They understand if I do it, they will not do it again. It's like that. And for the writing assignment, writing task, I always ask the students to use handwriting, not typing. Only that, Pak Rudy. Just simple like that in my class.
Okay. So it's going to be your workload, additional workload to
Yeah.
correct it.
Yeah. Okay, that is for the first questions. And the second questions will go to Ibu Agni, right, Pak Rudy?
Yes, right.
Yeah. Okay, Ibu Agni, would you please answer the question?
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Pak Rudy and Bu Susana, and also Miss Banat for inviting me to this very insightful ESP sharing session. Well, thank you very much. I feel so honored and grateful for being here. Well, in my perspective, it's been such rewarding and it's been such rewarding work to help Miss Bana to assist her in her assessment for ESP classes. Well, during my participation in assisting Miss Banat's assessment to ESP class, well, first of all, I introduced to the students about two different working situations, between English for land-based hotel and English for sea-based hotel or floating hotel, and also the kind of occupations or positions that Indonesian migrant workers may may fill out there, may function there. For example, for housekeeping, the students or our alumni might work as a stateroom attendant or public area attendant. And then in food and beverage service, our students may work as let's say there are several positions actually. Well, in the restaurant, they might work as a food and beverage service attendant or waiter, and then senior waiter, assistant waiter, supervisor, captain, and also assistant restaurant manager, something like that. And then regarding to the assessment class, well, I simply introduce them to, well, first of all, I always refer to the teaching objectives. okay, in my syllabus. Well, I have the syllabus for English for housekeeping class, and also the syllabus for English for food and beverage class, and also the syllabus for English for food and beverage product, because these three are different, okay? And after referring to the teaching objectives, I introduced them also to the indicators that the students must achieve in every teaching objective. And based on the indicator, together we try to formulate assessment. For example, we elaborate all the four scales, right? For example, for listening and speaking, they always come together, right? Well, let's pick up one teaching objective, that is the students are able to respond to the guest requests and complaints appropriately, for example. And then we go to the indicators and we try to formulate the assessment. Okay, for example, listening to some videos about the interaction between the guest and the waiter, okay, in a floating hotel and also land-based hotel. And then we try to develop the types of question, for example, like multiple choice and also essay. And then like in the multiple choice, we have whether the option can be in the form of words, phrases, or pictures, or even pictures, just like in the Marlin test. Okay, something like that, or true false statement. Okay. And then for reading, for example, well, our students must be able to read the employment letter or the contract given by the company after they pass the interview, right? Okay, so I try to make use of the employment letter or the working contract to become a passage.
All right.
To turn it into a passage in the question. So, for example, in the contract they have some items like facilities and benefit, okay,
All right.
or salary, or for example, the what is it, like the duration of work in a day, like every single detail related to the contract or the system at their work, okay. And then from the reading passage, we can take or quote some paragraph containing essential information about the contract and develop various questions out of it, like true, false statement, okay. And apart from that, we also have in the cruise ship, they will meet a lot of short functional texts on the wall, like something related to the personal hygiene, like wash your hands daily, you know, or the caution, related to the environmental hazard.
Yeah.
Like they have environmental hazard in the laundry room, in the housekeeping storage, for example. They will deal with a lot of chemicals, like there are 9 types of chemicals. Okay, so and also safety and safety and security during the work, like the kind of PPE or personal protective equipment that they have to wear during the work, like wearing a latex glove or facial mask or something like that. So all the short, so we try to collect the texts that they will encounter at work. Okay, so and sometimes I also ask my husband to take pictures of the short functional text
All
that he
right.
finds, that he finds on board, and
So,
something like
Bu
that. That's
Agni.
pretty much what I do in Miss Banat's class.
All right. Bu Agni, you said you prepared the student with the 4 skills.
Yeah.
So, is there any dominant skills that taught in the academy?
Okay. So, well, the dominant skill will certainly be listening and speaking, right?
All right.
So probably like 70% of the interactions of the students' interaction at work will be in the form of listening and speaking for all the positions for housekeeping, food and beverage product, and also food and beverage skills.
Okay.
Yeah, listening and
Thank
speaking.
you.
But for reading and writing, it's also important because they must be able to write CV. With our guidance, they must be able to write application letter, okay, and reading also matters because especially for the food and beverage service attendant, they have to take the HACCP certificate, just like our what is MBG stuff, like because they also deal with the food handling things, right?
Okay, I get
So
it.
I also take some samples of the HACCP guidelines, like
Right.
personal hygiene or viral contamination control, and I bring
All
that
right.
text into the class,
So
yeah, something like
it
that.
was very comprehensive answers, Bu Agni.
Yeah, yeah,
Thank you very much.
yeah,
I catch everything you said. Thank you
yeah,
very much. It was
yeah.
nice sharing.
Yeah, you're very welcome, Pak Rudy.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much for sharing with us, Ibu Agni. It's nice to have your sharing here in this forum. But unfortunately, we have a limitation of time, and that will be the last questions from of the Q&A sessions of our sharing session today. And today we have explored the critical areas of ESP in a different context that equip us with valuable research to enhance our practice. A sincere thank you to Ibu Banatul Murtafi'ah and Ibu Norita Prasetya Wardhani for sharing their expertise and time. For Bapak Ibu that raised the questions but do not have time or opportunity today, so you may contact our two presenters to have further discussions. Okay, thank you very much, Bapak Ibu, for your excellent questions and attentions. I hope you found that this session enriching. Please join me in one last round of applause for our speakers, and I will over these sessions to Ibu Susilowaty. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Wow, what a wonderful and thought-provoking discussion we've had today. From understanding how practitioner insights and PBL in the ESP teacher practitioner, teacher education, to exploring how general English meets ESP in the context of engineering students. So thank you very much, Ibu Susana, for moderating this session, and our two wonderful and amazing speakers, Ibu Banatul Murtafi'ah and Ibu Norita Prasetya Wardhani. Um, and these are truly relevant and inspiring topics for all of us here. Before we conclude our sessions, we have announcement from the ESP Teachers Community Committee. So therefore, we'd like to invite Ibu Ima Nurmalia Kusmayati and Bapak Muhammad Rudi to share it with us. Ibu, Ima, and Pak Rudi, so the stage is
Okay.
yours.
Thank you, Ibu Susi.
Yes, thank you.
Pardon me, Teh Ima,
Yeah.
because we have some additional participants who weren't in the photograph, so we invite all of the participants to reopen the camera in order
Oh,
to
all right,
capture
okay.
their best smile this day. Okay, because they have some insights from Bu Banat and Bu Norita, so we need to capture the moment. So can you please?
Excellent, excellent. Go with it before they go for their lunch. Their early lunch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Moment. Hold on. Okay, before we come to the important information from Teh Ima. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go for the second slide. Okay, thank you very much for your best smile. Okay, go on, Teh Ima.
Okay, thank you, Pak Rudy or Miss Rudy or Mas Rudy. I sometimes flipping between the title and the beginning of the name. Hello, everyone. Good morning, almost afternoon. My name is Ima, and I'm one of the IETC committees along with my colleague here, Pak Rudy. And I'm also a lecturer at Telkom University Bandung, West Java. Ladies and gentlemen, Pak Rudi harusnya ada drum ya. Finally, the moment we all been waiting for is here. What will we show to all participants, presenters today? Introducing the Indonesian's ESP Teachers Community website. So if you're right now in front of your laptop, or you can open multiple tabs on your mobile phone, type espindonesia.org. And this is the first ever national platform designed by ESP teachers and for ESP teachers across Indonesia. Whether you teach English for engineering, nursing, aviation, business, or hospitality, this is your professional home, a vibrant community where ideas spark, resources flow, and collaboration thrives. Now, for your information, if you just joined us today, allow me to give a sneak peek on what is ITC. It stands for Indonesian ESP Teachers Community. Okay, Pak Rudi, let's explore the website page per page. Let's start with how we can connect and collaborate. If you click on the home menu, are we on the home menu, Mr. Rudy?
All right.
Yes, home menu. And
Yes.
then you can scroll down, right?
All right.
And right there, my fellow ESP teacher, you can find informations about becoming ITC member. Now, however, if you already know that the online membership registration will only be available every February and August. So mark your calendars. So these are the months of membership registration time. Now, the next one is, let's click on get to know the ITC team, Pak Rudi.
About. Here we go.
Okay, are we there yet? All right. So if you scroll down on this page, you can get to know who the pioneers and the current organizing committees of the ITC are. And who knows, maybe one day you'll be interested to become a part of the organizing committees. There you go. Our
Charming photographs
different,
here.
right? And energetic faces, inviting all the ESP practitioners, professional researchers out there to join us. And we come from different universities, if I'm not mistaken, right, Pak Rudi? I believe
Yes.
none of us actually come from the same universities, and I'm really happy. This is one of the proof that we can connect and collaborate. The next one, Pak Rudi, let's check out the
Right.
event page.
We skip the news, right?
Yes, we skip the news, ladies and gentlemen, because at this very moment, we still haven't have any recent news updates just yet. And I think we are still planning whether this feature actually will be open to all the ESP members, right, Pak Rudi? Just
Yeah.
stay tuned for that info.
It's acceptable because the website is fresh from the oven.
Yes, yes, that's true. It's just been on for, I think, a couple of weeks, if I'm mistaken. Now, fellow ESP teachers, on this page, you can scroll down to see the previous sharing sessions, and a little bit down, you can watch and rewatch the previous sharing session via YouTube channel. Isn't that wonderful? If you have a short-term memory just like me and I want to go over the previous sharing sessions, and I'll just check out two of our social medias, which are Facebooks and YouTubes. And the next one, still we are on this page. So if you somehow miss out informations in our WhatsApp group, you can also visit this page to see the new poster. Well, who is going to present in the upcoming sharing session. And the good news, everyone, not only you can participate as participant, but I believe you can also become an MC just like Mrs. Susilowaty and moderator and then a presenter. And if you're interested, do not forget to fill in the option when you register as a new member or renew your membership. In this case, the committee, the ITC committee, can in touch with you. So, welcome to the future of ESP in Indonesia. Visit espindonesia.org, become a member, and be a part of a movement that's reshaping ESP teaching. Remember, one collaboration at a time. Your teaching, your community, your future. Thank you for your kind attention. I'm Ima and Parudi. We are going to sign off and returning to the MC.
Here is
Yes,
our
see you soon.
secretary. Don't if you go to Yogyakarta, don't forget to visit us here.
Oh yes, I forgot about the contact us part. We do have a official email address, ladies and gentlemen. Although it's true, sometimes it is quicker for the public relation team to respond via WhatsApp, right, Pardi?
Yeah. All right. Very interesting for the website there.
Yes.
Okay. So
And oh, Parudi, one more. I think Mbak Luluk mentions earlier, we do hope that one day we can add more resources, right, to
yeah,
our webpage because our team right now are still selecting and confirming what sort of sources are free from copyrights because I
yeah.
believe the
That's
website
right.
is more open than what is it, Google Drive or a WhatsApp group. Yeah.
Yeah. It's our dream the website will be so functional and resourceful. Yeah. So we can share and probably we can ask the members to contribute to fill the content, whether they want to share anything related to ESP from practice, theory, and research.
Yes, and also Parodi, there is one suggestion from participant today that we can add links, especially links to ESP related journals, national level and also international level to help ESP practitioner like us to submit and share our works worldwide.
All right, that's wonderful idea.
We surely take a note for that, Mr. Adhi. Thank you so much.
Okay, so I stop share.
Okay, what a lively presentation, Teh Ima and Pak Rudy. And of course, I think all the participants here, agree with me that, the website, the ESP website will be the, resourceful for all of us here. So, Bapak Ibu, this is our end of our sessions. Yeah, we have now reached the end of our sessions. So, on behalf of the Indonesian ESP teachers community, I would like to express our deepest gratitude to all the presenters, our moderator, and all the participants for being part of this learning journey today. A gentle reminder, everyone. I think we can see from the chat room there is a link to registration. Yeah, to get your free certificate. So please complete the link, the survey, and let us keep the enthusiasm alive and continue to collaborate, share, and innovate so that our ESP teaching practices will keep evolving to meet learners' real world needs. Once again, thank you so much for your active participations and warm energy this morning. So we hope to see you again in the next ESP sharing sessions. Have a lovely and productive weekend, everyone. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih banyak.
Thank you
Thank you
so much,
very much,
everyone.
Ibu
So much,
Susan, Ibu
everyone.
Susi, Ibu
Bapak
Banat, and Ibu
Banat.
Norita.
Thank
Iya,
you.
Thank you,
Thank
Bapak
you.
All of you
Ibu.
are
thank you
wonderful.
so much.
Thank you for the participants.
Mohon izin saya akhiri ya. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih
Thank
banyak.
you,
Terima
Ibu
kasih.
Erni.
You.